Iran is breaking, and what is unfolding right now in the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to reshape the global balance of power overnight. Behind closed doors, emerging reports suggest that Tehran may be preparing to relinquish part of its enriched uranium stockpile, possibly approaching 10 tons under intense and sustained U.S. pressure. There is no official confirmation, no public announcement, and no formal acknowledgement. Yet the convergence of naval movements, urgent diplomatic exchanges, and a noticeable shift in Iran's strategic posture all point to one undeniable reality. Something significant is forcing Tehran to respond. As you watch this, the Strait of Hormuz is rapidly transforming into a $270 billion pressure zone for the Iranian regime. U.S. naval forces are tightening their operational grip, executing a level of coordination rarely seen in modern maritime strategy. The U.S. Fifth Fleet is reportedly operating under a high-alert containment posture, and for the first time in years, the tempo of events is no longer being set by Iran. And this is where the situation becomes critical. Discussions surrounding Iran's enriched uranium, potentially up to 10,000 kilograms, have moved beyond speculation and are now embedded within active strategic calculations. Nothing has been confirmed, but the pattern of signals is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. At the same time, Iran's $2 million per ship extortion scheme is collapsing under international resistance, while IRGC fast attack pressure tactics are steadily losing effectiveness. What we are witnessing is no longer a conventional blockade. It is a calibrated campaign of controlled pressure designed not for immediate destruction, but for forcing a decisive strategic outcome. The question now is unavoidable. Is this the opening phase of a negotiated surrender or the final threshold before escalation? And more importantly, how did the U.S. Navy bring the world's most volatile maritime choke point to the brink of transformation in less than 24 hours? President Trump delivered the news himself this morning after an outstanding conversation with the respected president of Lebanon and the Prime Minister of Israel. The two leaders have agreed to launch a formal 10-day ceasefire at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. This marks the first direct communication between them in 34 years since 1993. No calls, no meetings, nothing until today's historic breakthrough right here in Washington. Trump has ordered Vice President Advanced Secretary of State Rubio and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Randy George to work hand in glove with both sides for a lasting peace. Military leaders are driving the talks because at the end of the day, the military executes the hard choices. Admiral Brad Cooper, commander of Central Command, even flew to Pakistan during the key negotiations, adding United States muscle to every detail. This ceasefire is bigger than Lebanon and Israel. It directly impacts the naval war boiling in the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran has tried to weaponize international waters and bleed the world economy dry. Before the Pakistan talks, Iranian allies claimed they would skip the meeting without a Lebanon ceasefire, yet they showed up anyway. Now with the ceasefire locked in the door, swings wide for Iran to finally honor its side of the bargain. That means opening the Strait of Hormuz and stopping attacks on civilian ships, trying to use a lawful international waterway. The deal was crystal clear. Iran opens the strait, the United States halts strikes. American bombings have stopped, but Iran is dragging its feet, refusing to release the chokehold, and that betrayal is fueling explosive tension on the water. Chinese officials are furious, openly demanding that Iran restore normal navigation immediately. Beijing depends on Gulf oil for 30 to 40% of its supply from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar. Only about 10% comes from Iran, so China is not about to let Tehran's economic terrorism sink its own tankers. This public slap from a supposed ally leaves the Iranian regime more isolated than ever, with Russia and North Korea and a handful of proxies as its only remaining friends. The United States Navy is not blockading the entire strait. It is surgically interdicting vessels departing Iranian ports, and the operation is a masterclass in maritime dominance. Guided missile destroyers from the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group patrol the blockade line in the Gulf of Oman backed by fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, helicopters, and aerial. Iranian ships painted red on the tactical displays have tried to run the line 13 times so far, and every single one has been turned back by overwhelming American combat power. Picture the scene. A junior officer on the bridge of a destroyer grabs the microphone and transmits the warning loud and clear. Do not attempt to breach the blockade. Vessels will be boarded for interdiction and seizure if transiting to or from Iranian ports. Turn around or prepare to be boarded. Iran is under pressure from every direction: economic collapse, internal unrest, and now total naval containment. The regime isn't gone. But for the first time, it's reacting, not controlling. If you do not comply, we will use force. At that moment, the Iranian crews can see the gray hulls closing fast, feel the pressure of American air assets compressing from above, and know that boarding teams are ready to seize control. No shots fired yet, but the message is unmistakable. United States sea control is absolute. And then something changes? One Iranian vessel doesn't turn back. Radar locks. Helicopters shift position. Boarding teams stand ready. For a few seconds, this is no longer pressure. This is the edge of war. And just as quickly, the tension breaks. The vessel slows, turns, and disappears back into formation. This naval pressure is hammering Iran at the worst possible moment. The regime's economy is in free fall after years of mismanagement, massive protests over water shortages, and wasted billions poured into Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. Rebuilding after recent strikes could cost $270 billion, and the central bank has publicly warned the government that without sanctions relief, there will be no recovery. The country is staring at total disintegration worse than the Soviet collapse. On top of that, Iranian leaders cooked up a desperate cash grab, charging $2 million per ship passing through the strait. 100 ships transit daily. That math promised $200 million a day in easy revenue. They set up an agency, issued permits to 60 ships, and sent payment demands to 8 vessels, mostly Chinese, hoping Beijing's support would force compliance. Not $1 has been paid. Zero revenue. Ships are simply refusing to hand over the cash because nobody respects Iran's claim to own an international waterway. The regime is panicking at the highest levels, talking about firing the agency chief and shifting control directly to the president. That kind of internal chaos signals civil war brewing inside the leadership, while the Navy and Air Force lie in ruins and the people suffer. Trump made it clear this morning, Iran wants a deal, and they are suddenly willing to do things they refused 2 months ago. No nuclear weapons, no enrichment capability, and the removal of already enriched uranium buried deep underground after Operation Midnight Hammer. Negotiations could accelerate as soon as this weekend, possibly even in Islamabad. The president is open to traveling there himself, which would mean a deal is already agreed in principle and only the signatures remain. He highlighted the incredible blockade. It has shut down Iranian business completely. They have no navy, no air force, no anti-aircraft systems left, and their old leaders are gone. The new ones sound reasonable for the first time. Yet thousands more United States troops and transport planes keep flowing into the region every day, giving Trump every option from diplomacy to decisive force. Midway through this crisis, Listeners, the question on everyone's mind is whether Iran will finally crack or double down on aggression. Do you think the United States should send full carrier strike groups deeper into the strait to crush any remaining Iranian naval threats once and for all? Or is the current blockade already delivering total victory? Tell us in the comments, because your voice fuels the conversation as American warships hold the line and the world watches Hormuz turn into a showcase of United States naval supremacy. Pentagon briefings this morning painted the blockade in vivid detail. Admiral Brad Cooper met the Special Forces teams that rescued an F-15 airman from inside Iran after more than 24 hours behind enemy lines. Those operators used cutting-edge tactics and technology for the first time in combat, working alongside the Israeli Air Force, United States Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps aviators to exceed every objective. The four best air forces on Earth operated as one seamless machine. On the surface side, the blockade line is a finely tuned machine. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets feed real-time data. When runners try to hop the line, destroyers surge forward with air power from the Abraham Lincoln strike group, compressing the threat. Warning shots remain an option, but so far the sheer presence of American steel and firepower has forced every Iranian vessel to turn around. The waters are congested with merchant traffic, yet United States sailors navigate the chaos with flawless discipline, protecting global oil flow while denying Iran any escape. This is no symbolic patrol. It is preparation for total sea dominance, mirroring the high-stakes naval battles. The United States Navy stands ready to fight in the South China Sea or anywhere. Freedom of navigation is threatened. Iranian attempts to sow mines or swarm with fast attack craft would be met by layered defense drones, helicopters towed sonar arrays, and remotely operated vehicles that hunt threats without risking American lives. The physics of underwater explosions is brutal. A single mine detonating beneath a hull can create a gas bubble that snaps a keel in half, but United States damage control systems and redundancies keep even billion-dollar destroyers like the USS Frank E. Peterson and USS Michael Murphy ready to absorb hits and strike back harder. Those ships already operate inside the Arabian Gulf, providing air defense surveillance and rapid response, while mine warfare vessels clear any underwater danger with precision. Iran's hostility has backfired spectacularly. By attacking civilian shipping and trying to extort the world, it has united even China against it and left its own people facing economic ruin. The regime's fast attack craft that once raced across the waves now look pathetic against United States carrier strike groups and guided missile destroyers enforcing the law of the sea. Every ignored warning, every failed toll collection, and every desperate lie from Tehran only tightens the noose. The United States Navy is not just blockading ports. It is projecting unmatched power across the waves, turning potential disaster into demonstrated superiority. Gray hulls cut through contested water with steady wakes, while Iranian forces retreat into fragmented chaos. The next round of talks could seal the deal or trigger even stronger American action. Trump has every tool ready. If Iran refuses a good faith agreement that ends its nuclear ambitions, ballistic missile program, and proxy wars, the region could explode back into open conflict with United States forces already positioned for decisive victory. This is the reality unfolding right now. A ceasefire in Lebanon opens the door, but the naval war in Hormuz will decide whether Iran survives or collapses under the weight of its own aggression. American resolve, backed by the world's most powerful navy, is forcing the outcome. The strait remains open to lawful traffic, the blockade holds firm, and United States sea control stands unchallenged. Listeners, this is your war correspondent delivering the unfiltered frontline truth from the heart of the Hormuz naval confrontation. The United States Navy is dominating the waves, turning Iranian desperation into historic defeat. What do you think happens next? Will Iran finally open the strait and beg for a deal? Or will American carrier strike groups deliver the final blow? Hit those comments right now because stories like this are exploding across the internet. And we will bring you every update as gray hulls hold the line. And American Power writes the future of sea dominance. This is radio reporting live from the edge of conflict. The mission never stops. United States warships' steady hands and unbreakable strength are keeping the world's oil flowing and the peace enforced through superior naval might. Stay locked in because the next chapter is already underway and the United States Navy is winning. Disclaimer. Dieses Video enthält Inhalte, die ganz oder teilweise durch künstliche Intelligenz erstellt oder unterstützt wurden. Das Material dient ausschließlich der Simulation, Illustration und Unterhaltung. Es stellt keine realen Ereignisse, keine politischen oder militärischen Ratschläge und keine verifizierten Informationen oder Beziehungen dar. Einzelne Elemente können fiktional dramatisiert oder ungenau sein. Zuschauer sollten dieses Video nicht als zuverlässige Informationsquelle oder Grundlage für reale Entscheidungen verwenden.